I can! I will! I'm going to! I can! I will! I'm going to!
Gary Michels, internationally acclaimed speaker, author, sales consultant, trainer, and coach, is the co-founder of one of the most innovative, progressive business performance companies in the world, Southwestern Consulting. Southwestern Consulting's seminar and speaking division, Success Starts Now, features some of the most talented speakers and trainers on the circuit today. Gary's entertaining and energetic style has inspired thousands to turn it up a notch.
How many people in here have a challenge with names? How many people have a challenge with names? Let me tell you why we have a challenge with names. It takes approximately 30 seconds for a name to go into our long-term memory. 30 seconds. So if you hear a name and a person, you hear a name and then all of a sudden 2 seconds later you're going, what's your name again? What's your name again? And they just told you 2 seconds ago. It's because it takes 30 seconds to go into your long-term memory. So here's the technique. Write it down. Repeat their name 3 to 5 times in the first 30 seconds. Repeat their name 3 to 5 times in the first 30 seconds. Eric Chester sitting up here in the front. It was nice meeting you earlier. Would you stand up and role play with me just for 1 second? Okay, so if I went up and met Eric, okay, and I need to repeat his name 3 to 5 times in the first 30 seconds, I'm not going to go, hi, Eric, 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 Eric. That's not what I'm going to do, okay? What I'm going to do is do something like this. Hi, Eric, how are you? Great. Well, my name's Gary, and you know, I have a nickname. I don't know if you have a nickname at all, but my real name's Gary, and my good friends call me G or Gare, and my real good friends call me G Money. I'm just curious, Eric, do you have a nickname at all, or do you just go by Eric? Okay. What does your wife call you? Idiot. Okay, well, do you want us to call you Idiot or Eric? Eric. Okay, Eric, nice meeting you. Thank you very much. Give him a hand, guys. Now, how many times did I just say Eric's name? About 5 times. It was much more natural because I used the nickname. So write down nickname. Get onto a conversation with nickname and say, I have a nickname. By the way, do you have a nickname? It will let you stay on their name much longer. Have a good elevator speech. This is one of the most common things people ask me, can you teach me how to write an elevator speech? I'm going to teach you really quickly how to do an elevator speech. An elevator speech is a 15 to 30 second commercial about what you do for a living when someone says, what do you do? And it's amazing how people, when you say, what do you do? They go, oh, I'm in real estate. I'm in machinery. And the whole idea, whatever it is that you do, the whole idea is your elevator speech is supposed to wow them. It's supposed to them to go, wow, tell me more. So let me give you my elevator speech first, and I'm going to give you the technique to write one yourself. Here's mine. I inspire, I train, and I motivate salespeople how to double their income in 365 days or less. I inspire, train, and motivate salespeople how to double their income in 365 days or less. Now, if you're sitting next to me on an airplane, and I say, what do you do? What do you do? And I say, inspire, train, and motivate salespeople how to double their income in 365 days or less. And this guy's in sales, and then I go right back to my magazine. What do you think they might say? How do you do that? That's what an elevator speech is supposed to cause. It's supposed to cause the person to say, how do you do that? As a matter of fact, write down, wow, how. Wow, how. That's what we call it, the wow, how technique. So let me give you kind of how you formulate it. Put I on your paper, and then you can easily use 2 or 3 verbs. I typically use 3. So you put blank, blank, or blank, blank, blank. What are the 2 or 3 things that you do? You train, you teach, you sell. What do you do? Okay? I inspire, I train, and I motivate. And then it's who do you do it for? Would be the next thing. Who do you do it for? I do it for salespeople. And then you put your wow. Then wow is last. I double their income in 365 days or less. I recently had an opportunity to spend time with 21 of the top producing salespeople in the United States. See, what I was doing is I was working on my book, Getting In and Getting Out, and I realized over the years that there was a big difference between a top producer and an average producer or a low producer. And I also noticed that if the low producer or the middle range producer were to watch the top producer, watch everything they did, how they worked, how they planned, how they answered objections, everything they did, they may not be a top producer, but the gap would be smaller. Do you all agree with me? And then I also said, what can I do in a book that would be different than any other book out there? I went to Barnes & Noble and I went to Amazon.com and I saw book after book after book after book written by one person with one person's opinion. And I said, what if I were to take several people's opinions, put them together in a book, and really study what the top producers are doing? And that's a lot of what our conference is about today. BBF. BBF. And what BBF stands for is bounce back factor. A top producer saw if they had a problem, they dealt with it and bounced right back. If a sale they thought they were going to get didn't come through, they bounced right back. If they had a problem at home in their personal life, with their friends, a financial situation, they dealt with it quickly and what did they do? Bounced right back. Do you agree with me that's important? See, they didn't get what we call the plum disease. In case you don't know what the plum disease is, the plum disease is poor little old me. You may know some people at home that have that. So what we created was what we call the ideal wheel. And you may have seen some version of this, but we've really perfected it here. And really what we want in our life is we want a balanced wheel. And imagine, if you will, for a moment, that the ideal wheel is like a bicycle wheel. The ideal wheel is a bicycle wheel with 7 spokes. And if our life is doing well, the wheel is doing well, the wheel is most efficient, the wheel is full of air. In other words, you're going to be 10s or 9s. If the wheel's flat and you're 1s and 2s, we're going to have a problem. But most people have a bumpy wheel. And let me explain to you. Let's say, for example, you're a rock star at the gym. You got the 6-pack going. You're tan, looking good. You're physically fit. You spend all your time at the gym. So physical, you're a 10. But financial, you're a 2 because you're broke. Does anybody know anybody like that? Or let's say, for example, your career's doing great. And I know that many of you in this room might have this problem. I know I have in the past. Career's doing great, but you're working 12, 15 hours a day, sometimes 6, 7 days a week just to make ends meet. You're grinding, grinding, grinding. So your career's doing good, so you're a 10, but the family's a 3 or 4. Can anybody relate? Okay. See what happens with your wheel, though, if you're a 10 and a 9 and you're going smooth, boom, boom, and then you're a 2 and then it just goes bam. And then you go back to a 7 or an 8 and it's a little smoother, and then you go back to a 3 and you go bam. Is that a problem? So what we started doing is every 10th of the month, we had date night. And we'd take our little sheets and we'd go out to a restaurant and we'd fill them in and we'd talk to each other and what are your goals this month? And what are your goals? How can I hold you accountable? And how can we help each other? And it really becomes something we look forward to. The really cool part is we kept track each month and watched as our wheel grew. What was exciting, how many of you have children in here? Brandon's our 13-year-old son, and Brandon does the quiz with us now. And it's really cool to see how a 13-year-old, he started doing it about a year ago, to watch them take this quiz and what's important to them, and to have them and say, hey, Mom, check this out, I've grown here. And to see a 13-year-old really grow with this stuff is really powerful.